Hi, welcome to Sunny J Live, where we're going to talk about the ups and downs, the ins and outs, the courageous turnabout, the slips, the trips, the stumbles, and the falls, but most importantly, the get back ups as we together engage in this thing called life. And my guest today is Inez Edwards. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so she has a very interesting story, but first we're going to say, who is Inez?
Who am I?
Yes.
Well, Sunny J. Obviously, I am human. I say that because with the experiences of life, there are ups and downs, there are failures and successes, and as human beings, we learn our lessons. And we're not born here perfectly. So to me, being a human being, I've experienced a lot of life. I've had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of failures, and some successes. So that's who I am as far as, the person, my persona. But I'm also a mother, a wife, an aunt, a grandmother. And I'm just happy to be able to come on and share my story about some of the things that I've done in my life. Hoping that someone else will, be inspired, be encouraged to move from a place of being stuck. We all have these areas in our lives where we feel like we're stuck. We need someone to come aside and say, hey, keep going. It's all right. It's going to be all right. I've been there, and I can tell you I've been there in a few stuck situations.
And that's what it's about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yes.
as you live,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to encounter obstacles, like you said, failures, successes, all those things, but through those we learn our lessons, right?
Absolutely.
So with that, I would say, obviously you've learned a lot, you've done a lot, and so tell us kind of like, what have you done to kind of get to who you are right now? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I'll start with my childhood, which was really interesting. I'm the oldest out of 11 children.
Wow, that's a
Way
lot.
back, yes, I grew up in upstate New York, cold, in a school that was predominantly white. So I had a lot of challenges there, as you can imagine. But a lot of those challenges help you to grow to become the person that you are, and then you grow to become the person that I am. And that, no matter what the adversity is, you have to find a way to continue on. Again, being human, you're living your life, you're having experiences, and with some of those experiences, they're not always good, but you learn from them and you're able to go forward. Because as a human, I believe, this is my belief, is that when you go through experiences and you trip and fall and you get up, you look back and you say, hey, what tripped me up?
Absolutely.
What got me? Something got me there. I better figure out what that is so I don't trip over that again.
Absolutely.
And go forward. So in my childhood, I learned a lot of how to keep on going, regardless of what someone said about me and so on. So I went on to college from being in upstate New York, which is cold, to another cold place in Buffalo, New York. I went there went to college, and, I ended up being a cheerleader in college, would put me into pro cheerleading. And that helped me to overcome some of my, I would say, confidence concerns. When people back in, your elementary school call you names, you kind of think, oh, is that who I am? Oh, that's, you don't know who you are. So getting into cheerleading.
Cheerleading.
Yes.
And you said pro cheerleading.
Yes.
So who did you cheer with?
Well, I started in high school, then I went on to college and cheered at college. And while I was in college, I was recruited by a pro cheerleader to go and try out for the buffalobills, and those cheerleaders are called the buffalobills. And that was rough. There were, this little country girl and 700 plus other women had to audition for 45 spots. But I got on.
I never knew that they were called Buffalo Jills.
Yes,
That's funny.
yes.
Are they still called that now?
They're still called that. But the problem with cheerleaders now, Sunny J, is that there was a time when there was a complaint within the cheerleading, I would say, association, which caused a lot of the cheerleaders to be dropped from the NFL. So we're still trying to build back up the numbers of cheerleaders throughout the NFL league.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So that was an experience.
that was an experience, and that was a confidence builder. So when people look at cheerleaders, they say, oh, they just jump around. Athletic, gotta work out, gotta take care of your mind, body, spirit, and soul. You have to believe in yourself. And that's the same as with being in beauty pageants.
Absolutely.
Which you can, testify to as well.
'Cause I know you have a title, don't you?
I did back when I was a young thing. I was Miss Oswego County in New York.
Miss who?
Miss Oswego.
Oswego.
Yes.
Wow, Oswego. Okay.
Yes. Who's our weatherman? Al. Who's the weather?
Is it Oswego?
He started at Oswego.
Oh,
Oswego
okay.
State.
Okay, but his name's not Oswego, is it?
Al Roker.
Oh,
yes,
really?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Matter of fact, I went and I took one class in that department, and they said that Al, was in this class, way back when, but taught by, I'm not that young, but anyhow, we had different teachers, but I actually took one of the weathering classes that he took.
Oh,
so that was interesting.
Okay,
yeah.
So you did cheerleading. You had a title.
Yes.
I don't know. Do you ever give up your title because you were the title for that
year?
You
do. What happens is you're only a title holder for 1 year. So
right.
I kept it for a whole year.
Right.
And that was a regional pageant
right.
holder place.
Right.
But it went to New York State where I made top 10.
Okay.
And I won Miss Congeniality in both the local and the state. But anyhow, Vanessa Williams came the very next year and won New York State. So I was the first African American contestant to compete in the New York State
Isn't that
level.
something?
And Miss Vanessa came and won it the
next year.
Yes.
Isn't that something? Wow.
Yes. So.
Well, you might have opened a door for her.
Well, I'm just thankful that I had the opportunity to be there.
but like you were in the top 10.
Yes.
So
yes.
that means they were looking.
Yes.
And so that might have made a difference,
yes.
for people to, the following year to say, okay, we got to be more open.
Mm-hmm.
We can't be, So anyway.
Yes. It was an experience. And I always say that, if you're a cheerleader, leader or a beauty contestant, it helps in building up your confidence, who
Absolutely.
you are. It helps you with your public speaking abilities. You're able to meet a lot of people and network. So, I encourage young women to go out and compete, whether they want to compete in beauty pageants or in cheerleading or any other type of, association that will help them to grow.
Absolutely. Because those things, and it's funny because people frown upon, they went through that whole period of frowning upon pageantry.
Yes.
But a lot of people don't realize the benefit.
Yes.
Like you said, the public speaking, but then there's all the scholarships.
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot of things that get
Right.
exposure.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that come from that.
Right.
And, so people should not look at that as a small endeavor.
Right.
And it doesn't matter where you start.
Right.
Because even if you start in a small local the same qualities that you need as you continue on,
Yes.
and then you learn them because you
do.
see who won. Well, what did they do differently? How did they do that? How did they,
Right.
how did they answer questions? Or what was their poise like? Or what was their eye contact like? Those kinds of things. So
Yes, and there were and are beauty and brains.
absolutely.
Beautiful, brilliant, boss ladies, own their own companies, attorneys, engineers, and
Across the board,
and
right.
the list just goes on. So
Yeah, and there's a lot of pageants, because
There
you
are a
have
lot of
like
pageants.
corporate kinds of pageants where you have to have some kind of business title or skills or your own company. So there's things that incorporate, like you said, beauty and brains, just not that. And I think that's a lot has changed too,
Yes.
as far as what those
Yes.
requirements are like.
Oh yes, well women today are smart, and if it's not happening, it is happening because women are not just sitting around going, "Oh wait, no, we're going after it." Woman power.
Absolutely. Yeah. You look at it, and that's funny because sometimes I think they were very, very smart in a lot of ways.
Yes.
And pretended like they
Right.
weren't like they were stupid. Like they
Right.
said, behind every great man is what?
A great woman.
And they really should say a smart woman.
Yeah,
Because
that's
she
what
knew.
I said great woman, great girl. Yes.
Absolutely. But you know what? This story continues on. So we have just touched the surface, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
K1, come on, oh, GLS, yeah, the gloss, 24/7, GLS, 365, yeah, GLS, the gloss, yeah,
Welcome back to Sunny J Live. I'm here with Inez, and we've been having a lot of fun. But, you know, it's funny because you were in cold New York, and then somehow you ended up in LA. So how did that happen?
Well, after I graduated from college, I ran into my husband, and before he became my husband, we took a trip to Los Angeles and decided, hey, this is a good place for us to live. So that's where we ended up.
So you just said we're gonna move from New York to LA.
Yes.
So now you're in LA. Now
yes, I'm working for a corporation that decided to downsize, and I was part of the downsize. But I met a few people there in Los Angeles, and they said, hey, you ever thought about show business because you're kind of quirky and, you know, you just look like you would fit right in there? And I said, no, how do you do that? And they said, oh, call Central Casting, you know. So that's the big background agency there in the LA area. So I did. I went, and my first audition was for this show called Moonlighting with Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't for a part, which is like, you know, the Screen Actors Guild level of payment. It was the background part. I'm fine. I'm cool. I don't know what's happening. I just want to be on the set. I want to see what's up. I want to see the real actors. You say Bruce Willis from Jersey. I said, okay, I want to check this out.
Right.
So I went on the audition, a lot of models and me. And I wasn't model type. I was, you know, right off, you know, just came from the farm to the college, graduated. Now I'm in LA, and all these supermodels are there. And me with my top up to here like this, and they have their tops down to here.
Right. Okay.
And their waist stitched in. And I'm like, woo, I'm not, you know, supposed to be here. So long story short, they cut, out of 25 girls, they cut down to 8. And I made the 8, you know, me and them. And I said, okay. All right, so they said, okay, all right, this is what we're going to do. I thank you all for coming, and we decided to go with this person because we just feel like she'll fit right in with who we have, and it'll be an easy transition, and that is Inez. And they go up and down like, that ugly duckling? And I was like, yes, girls, I know I don't look like much, but hey, I got on the team, you know. So that's how I got into show business. And my first month on that show, I got bumped up to the Screen Actors Guild card. So I was able to go on and have lines with Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd as The Office. You know, we all get lines. And that was a big deal because, you know, some of them were saying, hey, you just got here. You got your card. We've been here for almost 2 years without a card. So that's how I got into show business. And that's how I got to work on a lot of different projects, doing both background work as well as A-card work. And we call Screen Actors Guild level pay A-card or background. So I have that experience working with a lot of people, working on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with Will Smith, Eddie Murphy. We did, what is that? Coming to Harlem? No, that's Coming to America.
Coming to America.
What's the Harlem thing?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Eddie. The Harlem Nights.
Harlem
Nights with Martin Lawrence, House Party 2. Cool. So there are a lot of things that I was, a lot of shows.
Were you on Star Trek?
I did Star Trek.
You did Star Trek. I thought I saw a picture.
Well, you know, a lot of us started in Star Trek, and some of us started background, went on to do great things, have A-cards, they have television shows. I'm going to throw out a couple of names. Mickey Val is down in Louisiana doing it. My friend Andre Johnson started background. He's doing it in Hollywood still. Just saying, hats off, you guys. Awesome job. So, you know, a lot of people think, well, I wouldn't do background work. Why not? You don't want the experience of life as a human being. You want to experience whatever you can experience.
Absolutely. It was an opportunity.
It's an opportunity. You want to live. It's not about what other people think. It's about you having the experience of doing that. Like, I can say I experienced that. I experienced cheerleading. I experienced being a pageant contestant. I experienced being an actor. I experienced being a background person. I experienced being a screenwriter. You know, I experienced being a producer. You know, I experienced being an author. I experienced being a digital, you know, host for my own show.
Right.
You know, so I just want to encourage people with my life, as saying being a human, is to experience as much as you can and not worry about what other people think of you. Because at the end of the day, your life, it's just going to be you and God. Nobody's there to hype you up or to knock you down. So what you want to do is take every experience that you have, maximize it,
Absolutely.
take your lessons that you learn from your failures, go forward and step up your game.
There you go. I mean, that's it right there in a nutshell, right? Because life is about experiences.
Yes.
And you're right. You got to maximize them.
Yes.
And take because sometimes you get an opportunity, and you shouldn't belittle opportunities, like
Right.
you said. Because somebody say, "Well, I don't want to be a background." Well,
Right.
why? Because if you really want more than that, you got to start somewhere.
That's how.
And it
some of-
wasn't like that was your dream. You didn't
Yes.
dream like you didn't wake up
No.
as a young child and say, "I want to be an actress," right? That was it
No,
just
no,
kind of
no.
it
It
happened.
evolved. I had an opportunity. I think sometimes we get opportunities and we shut down a wonderful experience of life because of something we're thinking. Oh, I'm not going to do that now. No, I want to work on this show. I don't work on that show. I remember getting an offer to work on a show, work in production, and I was working on another show, and I should have taken this opportunity. I knew this person really well, and I thought, well, I'm on this show. I wish I worked on the show with this offer because this person went on to do great things. I would have been a writer. I would have been able to maximize what I enjoy doing. So sometimes we don't take an offer for no good reason.
Well, what
You
was
know,
your reason, other than you were working with somebody else already?
There was no good reason. That was it. I'm already on the show. But
Okay.
what I'm saying is, if you know the person, I knew the person, right? There's more opportunity there. You know the person, right? You can
They
talk
know
things
you,
different.
right.
They know you, So when the opportunities arise, I think that we need to think about it. And if you can't figure it out, consult with somebody.
Absolutely.
Get consultation. And say, hey, listen, I need you to help me out with this thought. And that's really important too while we're talking.
It is.
Getting a mentor, someone to feed into you, that's really important because if you don't know how to handle it, you got someone to say, hey, you should consider doing this. They're not going to tell you what to do, but they're going to say consider.
Because it's a different point of view.
A different point of view.
And you need that. You can bounce ideas, and you can say, this is how I'm feeling, and they could say why, and well, what about this? Because right, a lot of times we miss opportunities. But but the thing about life is, it happens, and we all can only go with what we know
That's
at the
true.
time, what we feel is correct at the time, right? And then accept whatever happens after that, and that's part of that balance of
Yin-yang.
success and failures that we go through, and the lessons that we learn.
Yes.
And so, guess what? We're going to get into some more lessons just for you in just a minute. Welcome back to Sunny J Live, and my wonderful guest, Inez Edwards. And, she really truly has an amazing story. And, I know my viewers have to be wondering, here you are in LA, you're an actress, you wear a lot of people, that's their dreams, that's where they want to be. You're in the industry, and then somehow you migrated from there. I met you here in Florida. So how did that whole transition kind of come about?
Well, let me go back to LA. While I was in LA, I also cheered for the Los Angeles Raiders at the Coliseum.
Oh, cool.
So I say that because that's another experience I think women should have. You go out for one NFL team. Hey, let me try it again because it's all about, see if you still got it.
Right.
So I'm like, let me see if I still got this. Let me go out for this team. So, make a long story short, I did. I competed. There were 1,000 girls at this point.
Wow.
And down to about 80 of us, and then down to 60. And I made the cut again. So then I thought, I'm doing the cheerleading. I think I stayed on the team for 2 years because they cut you, and I got cut. And hey, that's part of
What kind
being
of
on
money
the
do
team.
they make? Do they make pretty decent money?
No.
Oh, okay.
Everything is in going on the field, going through the tunnel, being on the field, cheering, doing appearances where those are paid.
Those are paid.
Those are paid. You could show up and cut a ribbon, that'd be $150.
Okay.
And
that was back then.
That was back
and I'm
then.
not aging you. I don't mean like back then in that regard.
Girl, it was back then. But anyhow, one of the most fun things that I did while cheering was to fly to Lake Tahoe.
Okay.
So they chartered a jet, and there were 6 of us, and we all get on the jet and, you know, fly. It wasn't a jet, it was a little small plane. I ain't saying a jet, but it was a, you know, a small plane. So we're flying, and we're like, this is really cool. Wow. So we get there, we're there for about maybe 8-9 hours, do our appearance, what have you, and fly back. But that was a fun experience because of the plane. It was snowing. It was like, ooh, you see those fake movies, and they have the little plane hovering, hanging from a little wire, and it's like floating in the air. That's exactly how that plane felt, you know. So once we got back, we're like, hey, that was a good appearance. Never again. It was just, yeah, it was, didn't feel that secure. But you said, how did I get from LA to Florida?
Like,
well, I had a pit stop. I had an aunt, Ruby, who's gone now to heaven, and I stopped in Washington, D.C., and we stayed there for a little while, for about maybe 3 years, my kids and I. And that's where I met my second husband. Husband number 2.
Okay, so husband number 1 is gone.
Husband number 1, I didn't mention that, but yes, he's there. He's still in LA County, and now I'm in Washington, D.C. And I was blessed to have the opportunity to go to the White House, and I got a chance to meet Michelle Obama. Nice. That was a big deal. That was a big deal.
Absolutely.
Oh, she's exactly what they say about her. She's sweet, she's nice, she's kind, and she's engaging. She's not standoffish. I love that about her. And she's all about health and all about children. So we got to do this appearance with her, with the company that I work with, and we brought our children, and we all have to run up. I got a chance to run up to her and do hula hooping, and she did the other obstacle engagement activities. It was so much fun. So I got to meet her, and I also met I forgot what President Bush it was. It was the young President Bush. You know, y'all help me. Which one is he?
The young one. I'm stuck.
The older one was retired. George W. Bush. I'm sorry, President Bush. Former President Bush,
right.
But you know.
But you know, we talking about Michelle Obama right
yes,
now. So,
yes,
know,
I kind of lost the guy. Sorry, you know, but yes, we got a chance to meet her, and that was wonderful. So that was, you know, while I was in Washington D.C.
So you were
on a
working
pit stop.
What kind of company were you working for that happened?
YMCA, Metropolitan YMCA.
Cool.
Where that was fun too, because I got to work with fitness gurus.
And they were out on the lawn area?
Oh yeah, they were out on the front lawn, yes.
Okay, I'm going to have to go back and look at that.
Yes,
I'm going to say this.
That was so much fun. I mean, the White House does so many things that we don't even think about. They do a lot of community activities, a lot of engaging with the people in the community.
Right.
Bringing them to the White House, planting gardens at the schools. Because actually I got to be the security person. I don't know how I became the security person to welcome President George W. Bush to the YMCA, but I did. So here comes the limousines, you know. There's an A and a B, I guess. Here comes A. And I'm standing there with all the big heads and me. And he gets out, and I go, oh my gosh, that's President Bush. He gets out, and as they do, they start from, you know, right to left. They shake hand, 1, 2, and there's me. And I was like, President Bush, such an honor. Went to the next person and went in, and I'm still going, oh my goodness. You know, and the limos drive off, and he goes inside, and I go inside, and there was my husband, my second husband.
He's
in the crowd too. He was also part of this whole thing because we met at this particular.
Okay, now how was he part of this? How?
He was responsible for the building structure, and you know how what happens
as far as checking the security.
Yeah, security, making sure there are people where they should be.
Okay, so he was doing that.
Yes, he was making sure.
We had a visit from the president, and we had to go through all of that.
Yes,
so that's why I was asking how he was involved. Oh, okay.
Yes,
and so that's how you met.
Mm-hmm. We met there, and and that's how we met, and the rest is history.
Okay, well, okay, no, it's not history. We don't know. So now you're in D.C. Now you're here in Florida. So
Okay, well, I met the rest is history with me and him. But anyhow, so we both did not like the winter experience. too cold. We had to go up a hill, down a hill before we went to our house. We would slide down the hill, hoping we didn't run into another car. Here's the other hill, here's this hill, and we're down at the bottom. We're like, no, this is it. We can't live here. So we decided to move to Florida. So we came down to Florida a couple of times to visit and check it out. We loved it. You know, the weather was always on point. There were so many places to go, and you know, Disney is like the adult and children playground. So you know, it was easy decision for us. So that's how I ended up down here and meeting my wonderful friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Isn't that something? And that's the funny thing about life, right?
Yes.
I mean, here we start in New York, in some place that I can't remember the name. Say it again.
Oswego.
Yeah, that.
Outside of Syracuse.
But that's just such a funny name to me.
It
But it is. It's a funny name. But anyway, because there are so many small communities in the United States. You know, there are so many little ones. So, but you did that, and then somehow you wound up in LA as an actress, doing all of that. Then you leave there, you go to Washington, you wind up meeting. Did you meet President Obama too, or just Michelle?
Michelle.
And I don't mean just Michelle. I'm not saying it in that sense, because definitely not just Michelle, but in the sense you didn't get a chance to meet the two of them. But a wonderful experience, though. Yes. Absolutely. So you do all of that, and then you decide, I'm going to go to Florida, where it's nice and warm most of the time, right? Okay, so I know there's more to this story, right? She's here in Florida. Now we got to figure out, okay, I'm here in Florida. Now what do I do? Who am I? What do I do? How do I evolve again, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Exactly. What am I doing now? Yes.
So we're going to come back with that.
Yes.
What is she doing now? Stay tuned. And we're back here at Sunny J Live with Inez, and we've kind of bounced around the country. We went from LA, you being an actress, to DC, to Florida, and so like, what's going on with you now? Like, how did that transition work for you coming to Florida?
My human experience?
Yeah, your human experience.
Well, what prompted me to leave LA were two things. One was a marriage that was failing, and the other was a professional from the movie industry, television and movie industry, telling me, I don't want you to get messed up by this industry. I think you are a wonderful person, you have a lot to offer a family, that you should consider leaving this business and marrying the man of your dreams and living the life that you want to live. Because things can happen.
Wow.
And that was real. He not only told me, but he told another young lady. And she was aspiring to be a director.
Wow. Did she stay?
I have not seen her, so I don't know if she actually left LA or not. But that those words were so impactful to me, coming from this person. This person is very well known, that I said, okay, he's not just saying this to me and to her, and there's like thousands of other people around here. There's got to be a reason for this.
Right.
So, I did. I left. I was working on a show called Girlfriends at the time with Tracy Ellis Ross.
Yeah.
And I was actually working as her stand-in at the time. And I said, I'm leaving. And that's what prompted me to go to D.C. and then move down to Orlando, Florida, because, as I said, we couldn't deal with that weather. But before I left...
Okay, wait, I got to stop you just one second, because I know our viewers are wondering, okay, do you ever regret leaving LA?
I don't.
Acting? Okay.
I don't, because I'm a person that, I didn't say that my faith is Christianity. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. And that when things happen, I know that my steps have been ordered and orchestrated. And I never look back, because it wasn't me. That's not my plan. I wasn't the lady that decided in high school, I'm going to arts and performing school, then I'm going to go to Hollywood and become famous, and blah, blah.
So that wasn't your dream?
That wasn't my dream. My dream has and this is because of my mom. My dream was always to experience things. My mom would say to me, you can do anything in life you want to. Just set your mind to it. So that meant to me, do this, try this, do this. So my thing today is to travel a lot. So I've experienced that. That's good, for me. It's our human experience. It's my lessons, it's my failures, it's my success that will propel me. So this is how I'm looking at life. I'm learning, I'm growing, and I'm not letting my failures hold me back. I'm not getting stuck. And the reason I'm not going to go back to that story why I'm in Florida, the reason I don't get stuck is because I have some good people in my life that encourage me, that prompt me, that inspire me, that counsel me and say, hey, let's keep going. And I said this earlier, we all need a mentor, whether it's a business mentor, a spiritual mentor, a relationship mentor, because we don't know it all. That's what my mom did for me. God bless her soul, she's gone now.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have other mentors right now.
Good.
So yes.
All right.
So I'm gonna segue back.
Yeah.
Back
Because
into
I
that.
interrupted, but I know y'all wanted to hear that.
I don't regret it. I'm so happy to be in this phase of my life because I did not have a job when I got here. So I had to reinvent myself. I was working at a church and I decided to continue on at church, continue my education and get a certification in biblical studies.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that. So I've always been in fitness all of my life. So I put those two together and I do growth mindset coaching and also fitness coaching.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've been doing all my life. So I've always had it 36 plus years. Working out, running, swimming, hiking. I believe strongly in taking care of one's temple because God gave it to you. That meant for him. He meant for you and I to take care of it.
Right.
It's a vessel.
It's a vessel.
You
that's
have
right.
to get around in it, so take care of it, right? You don't drive your car without putting gas in it, changing the oils, flipping those tires every now and again, right?
Absolutely.
So same thing with your body. So that's what I teach. I just coach you on taking care of yourself, loving yourself, growth mindset, making sure that you grow continually, whether it's education, experience, knowledge, wisdom,
Absolutely.
in all those areas. So that's what I coach. And if you go to my website, inezedwards.com, that's where you can check me out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, like you said, you have been, kind of been doing that all your life.
Yes.
And now you have it's now into a business format where
It's-
you really can help a lot of people
Yes.
in this wonderful virtual world that we have become.
Yes.
So that's awesome.
Yes, that's one thing. And I also work with a group of women where we write together. We do screenwriting. We write books, and I'm also a published author. I wrote my first book after I contracted COVID, and I thought I was going to die on the second day. And I was like, Lord, if you get me out of this, I'm going to write whatever book you want me to write. Lord, I'm going to write it, so I wrote this book. Your Journey with God, which is a book of affirmations and manifestation. You have to affirm who you are, because if you don't affirm who you are, Sunny, you'll become who they say you are.
Absolutely.
You don't want to listen to what they say.
Absolutely. So, okay, you have this wonderful book.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your first affirmation in there? Just so they have an understanding of what it's about, so that they, in fact, because they can get this on Amazon. Where can they get it?
Amazon.com or Kindle.
Absolutely. So give us our first affirmation.
Okay.
All right, you got notes? You got a pen and paper? Write down your first affirmation. Okay, here we go. With Inez Edwards.
Know your identity. Know your identity. Because like I said, if you don't know who you are, somebody out there is going to tell you who you are. And you don't want them to tell you who you are. They may tell you you're not worth anything. Your daddy said you weren't anything. As long as I know in your family, they ain't been about anything. That means you're not anything. He said, no, I am the daughter of the king. If you don't know, I am royalty.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's my very first chapter, and the book has a lot of affirmation in that it helps you to know who you are, and it helps you to be grounded.
Absolutely. So,
And
Your Journey with God, 31 days of personal affirmations and actions. So make sure you get your very own copy, because this is amazing, and you got to know who you are.
That's right.
Got to know who
That's
you are.
right.
So now you're an author.
Yes.
You're a fitness mindset coach.
Yes,
Right.
mind
And I know
growth.
you have
Mind
your
growth.
own growth.
Mm-hmm.
Not mindset coach. Okay, growth. Okay. And you do a lot of motivational kinds of things, and I know you also have your Instagram show where you do, various things,
Yes.
and you're writing and all kinds of things. What is the one thing you're really wanting to see come together in your future?
Two things. One is the inspiration show with Inez, because what I do is I talk to people about who they are. Your potential is what you set your mind to be. Growth mindset. It's not your title, your job, who you say you are at your job. It's your potential.
That's right.
It's maximizing who you are. It's maximizing your experiences and then taking your experiences and going a step higher to something else. So you're as big as what you or who you think you are. So I would love to have my show be able to be across the world and speak into people's lives and say you can do anything you set your mind to. Okay. You can do that. You can become that. Don't let anyone stop you. You are amazing. You are brave. You're bold. You're courageous. You're dangerous. You're excellent. You're fierce.
That's right.
You're great.
Absolutely.
You're happy. Yes, you're intelligent. You're kind.
All of that.
Yes, all that.
All of that.
That's what growth mindset is, to really actually believe it.
And that's the key piece. You got to believe it.
You have to
That's
believe
the key
it.
piece. You got to
Yes.
believe it. So that's number one. You said there's two things.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what's number two?
I'm writing and producing my own film, because that's my other avenue of assimilating information through production of film.
Okay.
So I have co-written with a few people, and I look forward to producing that and being on the crew. I don't know if I would be the director, and that's not important to me, but actually getting the film produced and on screen or in some type of distribution, whether it's, Hulu, Peacock,
Distribution.
yeah, Netflix, some line of distribution.
Absolutely. And so, after they do all that, then they can come see us at GLS.
Oh, yes.
We'll get you paid first.
You're-
But anyway, so... But the wonderful thing is, though, so you've got this film is already written. I mean, you've
Yes.
done it.
Mhm.
Now it's just a matter of taking it to the next
Yes,
level, the
yes.
next step of it.
Funding, and then production, pre-production, then actually producing it.
Okay.
And then finishing, I have one little thing left on my own film to be corrected, and then I will have my own film written by me,
All right, ready to go.
ready to go.
All right, so if you're watching and you've got, you want to do some investing, they want to invest, right? Or you have that distribution network or whatever, it's Inez Edwards. Her contact information is there. Reach out, make a connection. Let's see what we can do together. 'Cause,
Thank you.
It's a wonder. The world is it's huge and small at the same time,
Yes, yes.
right?
Yes, yes.
So there's no reason why that can't happen.
No reason whatsoever.
And I know you believe in it 100%.
I do. We can
It's
do
about
it.
potential.
It is.
Maximizing
We all
your
got
potential.
it. Yes. We all got it. We all got it. Yes. We just got to believe in ourselves. And as I said, having a mentor is really important. Having someone to speak into your life and say, my mom did that for me. You can do it. You can do it. Because how I grew up, it's okay. You can do it. You can still do those things that you think you can do.
Yeah,
So I say that to everyone watching, you can do it.
Yeah, you can do
You've
it.
already been given what you need, and you don't have to go anywhere else to find it. It's in you.
It is, because all of us have gifts and talents.
Yes.
So, you've been given those. And now you just got to, like you said, maximize them and believe in them and strive. And having positive people around you is so important.
Yes.
Because you can believe in you, but you got to have people around you too
Right.
that are in that same mindset. They don't have to be doing the same things that you're doing, but they're in the same mindset.
Right.
And I'm like you. My mom was that person too. It's like whatever you feel like you can do. Because I was always doing something. Everybody knows I'm always doing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. But when I focus and I get laser focused, and I say this is what I am going to do.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says, and they start talking negative. I say I'm not listening anymore.
That's right.
This is what I am going to do.
That's right. It's your dream.
It's my dream, right?
Don't talk me out of my
Yeah,
dream.
so-
Get your own dream.
Absolutely.
I'm going to support you. Why you don't support me? Why?
Yeah, so if you're going to talk that you might don't see it happen, then just don't speak that in my presence, because
Yes.
it's all about, like you said, being positive and believing
Yes.
and having faith, because I totally believe that the gifts and talents and the vision God has given us, if He gave us the vision, He's going to bring it to pass. But we got to do our part.
That's
right.
right.
So,
That's right.
It has been so delightful to have you here on the show.
Thank
I know you have
you.
enjoyed her. Definitely reach out to her. You can find her on Instagram and all of those places. Get the book. Can't wait to see this film because
Yes.
I know it's coming.
Oh, yes, it's
Without a
coming.
shadow of a doubt, the film will
Yes.
be there. So remember the name, Inez Edwards. And guess where you saw her at? Right here on the Sunny J Show. So from Sunny J Live to our wonderful viewers, we say until next time, God bless you and love you. Bye-bye. Hold up, don't go anywhere. Stay tuned for the trailer of Looking in the Mirror, which is streaming
on Tubi, NBC Peacock, Amazon Prime, Sling TV, Roku, Hoopla, Voodoo.
Get out.
I'm sorry I've been bad. I promise I'll be good from now on.
My mom had gotten in the habit of dropping me off with totally different strangers. One day while my mom was doing one of her vanishing acts, my Aunt Cece dropped me off to my grandmother on my dad's side named Beatrice. Boy, I sure didn't know what I was getting myself into.
Better not tell nobody, man.
Then I was sentenced to prison and pregnant.
I'm Dr. Lewis, and this is Nurse Thomas. Relax. Okay.
So I ended up going back to jail. I still couldn't get it right. And I met a girl named Tammy, and we became fast friends. And she introduced me to her brother E.
I'm gonna end up putting the ring right there on that finger. I ain't playing.
You drive a hard bargain, baby.
You crazy. Go.
And let's go.
I'm not coming home. Go. Whoa, come on.
I don't deserve this.
So what, you gonna shoot me?
If we ask you to do something, you do it.
Right.
Why did you take that money from my purse?
Really gonna come over here with this? Oh, you came here to play, huh?
I'm ready to take things to the next level.